Hi guys, if you are a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, stick around, you might be in the right place. My name is Tree Cat and this is Tree Cat Tarot, and here I do some pick cards, but mostly we do monthly zodiac reads for the upcoming month. Um, I'm a big proprietor of the idea that you should look at your rising sun and moon to get the fullest scope of what your upcoming month is going to look like, or if you do it for like week or day, year, what have you. These are general reads, so always take what resonates, leave behind what doesn't, and because they are general reads, that's the other reason why it's a good idea to take a look at all three signs and just piece together what makes sense for you. So today we're going to be looking at some oracle cards, and then I'm going to draw some tarot for your general month of February, and then we're going to pull 2 tarot cards apiece, unless Spirit says otherwise, for your love and relationships, career and finances, and health and spirituality. So if that all resonates with you, Libra, go ahead and stick around. And excuse me while I just finish shuffling cards. I record these over the course of several days, so the first video that I record for that day, they get to see me shuffle cards. And for me, it's a slightly important part of the recording process, simply because, like, obviously the shuffling of the cards, but like you guys gain to see it. That way, you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that like I'm not putting them together beforehand. You can see me shuffle, right? Oh, oh my God. Well, that's fantastic. Give me one moment. Well, thank you, Spirit. That's probably the best those cards have ever been shuffled. So, let's go ahead and take a look at your oracle cards. Just going to shuffle one more time on each deck. And Spirit, what does February look like for Libra, please? Spirit, what does February look like for Libra? I feel like with your energy, I'm getting a more softer, sweeter, more patient energy. And that's not always the energy that I'm in when I read. These often turn into therapy sessions, but with you, I'm getting a much more, I don't know, like, it's more the energy of, I mean, obviously if advice comes up, I'm going to be giving you advice, but I'm going to be giving you advice like it just feels much more soft today. It feels much more, I'm not trying to push you to do something in a big sistery kind of way. It's more in a mothering kind of way. It's just softer, right? So that's the energy I'm picking up with you. Oh, we have patience. Of course. We have patience here. Through the darkness to the light, card number 27. The 27th of February could be important to you at this time. I think it's interesting all the imagery we have here. There's, you see these branches with leaves, you see autumnal leaves, and you see spring leaves, and you see a crow here. These are apple cores, which make me think of the autumn equinox. She's drawing. Oh no, she's not drawing. That's That's a sickle. That's a sickle right there, which is another symbol of the autumn equinox. It's a symbol of the harvest. And we have a rabbit right here. And then these trees remind me of wintertime. There's a lot of imagery here of like the feeling of moving from fall through winter into springtime. So maybe you're going through a lot of changes and what would feel like a year's worth of changes in a very small amount of time. And you're just kind of having to breathe and keep your wits about you. Kind of like when I went to shuffle the tarot deck and it just all fell out. Like, I didn't even like exclaim out really like I would normally do. I just breathed, that happened. And that might kind of just be what you're dealing with at the moment. Let's go ahead and see what else we have here. Let's see your scenario card. These are always lovely and snarky. Libra scenario for February, please. Libra. That almost landed in my coffee. I'm ready to start something new and scary. Blank me will give me a push to get going, okay? So, hot, sexy time. Hot, sexy time will give me a push to get going. Okay, so maybe you're needing to connect with your sacral chakra at this time. We did talk about like fall through winter into spring, right? And that's kind of the feeling of it feels like the end into the beginning of the life, death, and rebirth cycle, right? You're trying to rush forward towards the spring, towards the something new. So if you really want a big push, a big boost of that energy, you need to connect with the sacral chakra, which is the energy of creativity. It is the energy of sensuality, sexuality, and just feeling alive within yourself. So if you need a boost to kind of skip forward, and I don't know, I feel like we should allow things to happen as they're going to happen. It's not always a good idea to rush through steps, but if you need to for some reason, or if you feel this urgency that you need to get something to happen right now, you can use sensuality to help make yourself feel more alive, invigorate yourself. The other thing you can do is obviously with the permission of your partner, if you're going to do this with a partner or by yourself, you can use that activity, that experience to help you manifest. Um, I have never personally done it, but I've read and watched a lot of people talk about it. And it makes sense from an energetic, magical point of view, but like smexy magic, because I don't know if I can actually say sexy or how much I can say it before YouTube puts the kibosh on that. But spicy time magic, manifesting and visualizing in the middle of release. That makes a lot of sense that you would be able to really push a manifestation forward or to really push a spell forward, something that you were trying to work on. Just because it's an intense push of energy, there's a lot of intense feelings, and it's euphoric. It is supremely euphoric, and it's a really good way of like if you can manage to concentrate while you're doing that, it's a really great way to get a very potent mass of energy that is purely pleasure, purely receiving, purely deserving. And that is the energy from which we do our best manifesting. When there is no part of us that doubts our worthiness for something, our ability to receive something, how much we deserve something, and we're just very open and ready, right? So that could be a way that maybe you are pushing manifestations forward in the month of February. It is a very romantic and sensual month, largely due to Valentine's Day, if you live in a country that celebrates it. But there's other celebrations during that month typically that also correspond with romance and sensuality. For example, if I remember correctly, Lupercalia also occurs during that time, which is a Roman holiday about, you know, getting really rambunctious and having a good sensual time. Um, I'm sorry, I just heard some yelling outside. Someone's having a rambunctious good time. So maybe that is confirmation that that's something you need to be doing and partaking in. Let's go ahead and pull your next oracle card and see what else we have here. Okay, we have the bear. And she came out like that. That is card, I'm gonna let you look at it. Card number 15, so maybe the 15th of February is important at this time. There is a 10 right there, so maybe the 10th is important. Um, Depending on your positioning in conjunction to the moon would still be new by the 10th of February. So again, coming back to the idea of manifestation. And maybe this is something that will require a lot of patience from you. Large manifestations can take 6 months to actually see the results of. Um, with the bear, so the bear is believe it or not, a nurturing energy. The bear is a nurturing energy. It's a maternal energy. Right here, um, God, what story is that? Let's take a look. I don't remember all the stories anymore. It's been a minute since I've used that deck. Okay, it's the story of Rose Red and Snow White. So, hmm, Rose Red and Snow White together is usually never talked about anymore in terms of fairy tales. It's usually just Snow White. But in the oldest story, she had a sister called Rose Red, and Rose Red actually got to marry the prince's brother. In this particular story, their mother decides to let a bear stay with them, having a really good feeling about the bear despite, it being a large predatory wild animal. Um, are bears predatory? No, 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 they're scavengers. Bears are scavengers. Forget that. But so the bear, she just has a good feeling about this bear, so she goes ahead and lets the bear stay. And we get cat confirmation in the background. Um, and the bear ends up protecting them from danger, including someone trying to kidnap the two girls. Um, they, as they grow older, the bear is simply part of their lives. And at some point, the bear gets turned back into a prince. And Snow White marries that prince, and Rose Red marries his brother. Like, that's one of the stories, one of the older stories related to Snow White. Not the classic one that everyone is familiar with, but it's one of the ways that story has been told. And honest, the telling of that too kind of reminds me of the idea of going a non-traditional route of doing something. And back to the spicy magic, that is still considered a non-traditional way to get your manifestations. Like, most people rely on vision boards, visualization, affirmations, and just working towards the thing and having that image very solidly in your mind. A lot of people, at least based on what popular rhetoric, a lot of people don't really employ that. I think it's still considered a little bit of a taboo. Just like the idea of the bear staying with the mother and the two girls is considered a bit of a taboo. This could be something you are trying to manifest in terms of children that you have. Um, you could be manifesting having children. There's nothing else popping out to me here. So let's go ahead and move on to the tarot itself and see what else we have for your month of February. Spirit, Libra's month of February, please. Alrighty. I'm going to take these as your primary cards, but then the Hermit also came out. So we'll just kind of like stick him nearby. Let me just kind of rearrange this a little bit. Okay, he can chill up there, Hermit. And then, so other than him, we have life experience or the Tower in reverse. We have the High Priestess in reverse, and we have the Two of Earth. So numbers, we have 9, 16, and 2. 27 does reduce to 9 in terms of numerology. We also, let's see here, the Hermit is a Virgo energy. The Tower is Aries energy. And the High Priestess is classically Taurus energy, but I also think of Pisces energy when I see the High Priestess. So, let's see. And also, if you work with archangels, we have Haniel, Shamiel, and Raziel. Not archangels that you typically think of, right? So there is just this classic energy of going a slightly alternative route with shit. Um the Hermit coming out at the same time as the High Priestess. This is feminine energy and masculine energy. One of the things that I think of with the Hermit coming out at the same time as the High Priestess is the Hermit being Virgo energy. So this is introspective. This is solitude for the sake of solitude. This is practicality. This is self discovery and trying to just figure out what you need to do and getting to know oneself better. If we were to take the High Priestess as Pisces energy, Pisces and Virgo are opposites on the astrological wheel. Their axis is the axis of helpfulness. Both signs love to be helpful to other people. Virgo likes to be helpful in practical manners. Pisces likes to be helpful in spiritual manners. However, if we take the High Priestess as Taurus energy, Taurus is an earth sign, so that's the same energy. But if I were to call any of the earth signs the most intuitive one, I'd probably have to go with Taurus. Because once again, I would say of all the earth signs, Taurus is the most sensual. They're literally known for enjoying their sensual pleasures, enjoying like the feel of silky sheets or silky clothes, good music, food where they can taste everything on their tongue, the spice and the texture of the meat, the crunch of the vegetables. And then Aries too, a very passionate energy. You're definitely moving from, I think this is the energy you are starting with in the beginning of February, where you are more practical, you are more introspective, you are more isolated, you just want to be in your solitude, and you're moving into an energy that is instead more sensual and passionate in order to get something done. I don't know if it's just, the stereotypical vibe of February that is influencing this or if it's something else. But you are moving from something that is, mm, you're moving from something that's more of an energy of stillness to an energy of, it's not the opposite of stillness. It's going from an energy of stillness and waiting and just doing what is always the most practical thing to do, to doing what simply feels good, moving towards doing what feels good. But let's go ahead and talk about the cards themselves a little bit more. So with the Tower in reverse, you're definitely, there is something falling apart around you. I do see something falling apart around you. It's likely going to happen closer to the beginning of February. The Clincher by Chevelle is playing next to me. And the lyric that is catching my attention is, these are the limits when one's buried, this body's left the soul, could we have known. There's something falling apart around you, but there is this sort of acceptance of something falling apart around you. You're not trying to fix it, you're not trying to do anything about it, it is what it is. With the High Priestess in the reverse, she makes me think of when we aren't listening to our intuition, when there is something our intuition has been trying to tell us and we're simply not listening. What I'm getting here, though, especially with the Two of Earth next to her, is it's not that your intuition isn't working in the present moment. It's more, as things are falling apart around you, you're noticing, you're kind of remembering the instances in which your intuition was trying to tell you something and you were not listening. So that being said, you being able to be in retrospect about, this happened around me, it is happening, I cannot do anything about it, but when I look back, there were things telling me to get out when I could have, or to get out before things really truly fell apart. And with that knowledge, you are now kind of, you are now moving very fast because you realize things are falling apart. And you know you need to get out while you can. You need to protect that which is already yours. And you need to make moves very, very fast. And getting into that sense of, I feel like I'm talking to someone who already has a good idea of how manifestation works. You know that being in a place of deserving, um, makes it work. You know visualization works. You know focusing on what feels good works. You know how to magnetize things to you. And I feel like this is almost a review of you remembering, oh yeah, this is how I had achieved that which I now have, and now I need to use this same knowledge once again to push forward, but I need to push forward now. I need to push forward very fast. And maybe with the Two of Earth here, because I was talking about how the Hermit and the High Priestess coming out together are two very different things. The Hermit is practicality, the High Priestess is intuition. I feel like the lesson that you derive by the end of February is how to notice the intuition, listen to what it's telling you, not ignore it, listen to what it's telling you, and just kind of take note of it so you can then turn what the nudges that you are getting into practical action. Whatever is happening right now, you're going to be fine. I'm feeling like you're going to be fine. Your life is going to be drastically changed, but you will ultimately be fine. But you have to take the lesson that Spirit has offered you at this time, which is learning how to listen to the intuition and synthesize that information, turn it right into practical action. So, that being said, let's go ahead and move into your love and relationships. Jesus. Okay, let's try that again. Portuguese Knife Fight by Cage the Elephant's playing next to me, and like the chorus starts with the words, I want to waste my life with you. So, and considering that we're about to do your love and relationships read, you could be either falling in love during this month or rekindling during this month. But that's just, or you could just go check out the song because it's groovy. That's the other thing you could simply just do. Okay, so we got 3 cards for your love and relationships because Spirit says so. So for you, we have the Ten of Water or the Ten of Cups in the reverse. We have Balance, that is number 14. It's classically known as Temperance, and that is the Sagittarius card. And then we have Nine of Air or Nine of Swords. I'm noticing we have 14, 15, and 16 out here, so maybe something is going on right around Valentine's Day. But let's go ahead and get into your love and relationships. So, the Ten of Cups in the reverse does talk about being kind of unhappy in terms of domesticality or your home life. However, with balance or temperance, there is healing occurring. You are recognizing the ways in which you are currently unhappy and you are focusing on trying to heal it. However, the thing getting in the way of your healing at this time is the Nine of Swords. You have anxiety, you are restless, you are losing sleep, you are paranoid. I'm getting the feeling of someone who, because we have that aspect of healing here, someone who, I feel like for more of you, this is going to be rekindling. And maybe it's not romantic rekindling. I feel like for most of you it will be. But for some of you, like, it's just reconnecting with parents or children. I think especially children with the bear card here. But possibly a partner too with the hot, sexy time. Yeah, you're definitely rekindling during the month of February. You remember what it felt like when things were good, possibly before this tower moment occurred. I feel like this tower moment did not have anything to actually do with your love and relationships. I feel like the tower moment is something unrelated, like your job or your education or your health, or maybe family members who do not live with you. Okay, but it was directly affecting how you were relating with the people in which you currently live. So you remember how things felt before everything was getting infected by other shit that had nothing to do with your immediate family, nothing to do with your marriage, nothing to do with your relationship to your children. And so you are now recognizing how your sense of anxiety, and maybe you didn't have anxiety before, but you have it now. And now you need to deal with it. So that requires healing. Healing our anxiety often will heal our ability to relate to other people simply because we are not constantly expecting the worst. We are not constantly needing to control things. We can let go, we can relax, we can relax those muscles, and again, feel into what feels good. That could have a lot to do while you're moving into this energy of wanting to focus on what feels good, wanting to embrace feminine energy, which both men and women have both masculine and feminine energy. Feminine energy is simply enjoying existence, enjoying being, focusing on the body and the senses, and being creative simply for the sake of being creative. That is feminine energy. So I do see you trying to heal some anxiety, and from that point forward, you are going to be able to heal your relationships within your household. Because it's in the reverse, however, I'm assuming that the healing of the relationships within your household is going to extend past this current month. It's going to be something that will take a bit more time, but it's always worth it in the end. Every step forward is a step you did not previously take. So, that being said, wow, and The Path by Lord is playing next to me. I just hope the sun will show us the path. If that's not a song of like being wanting to find hope in something, I don't know what is. I think you need to check out that song. I think it's going to be something that really resonates with you during this coming month. Let's now go ahead and take a look at your career and finances. I'm just throwing a lot of music at you right now, too. So we have the Nine of Water. That wanted to come out. We have the Knight of Water, and we have the Nine of Water, and we have the Knight of Water in the reverse. You have a lot of major arcana out here, as well as a lot of cups or water cards. There is, and that's kind of like major arcana talks about large events. It talks about things that are not day to day, things that will have a large impact much farther down the line. And we did talk about how with the patience card, and you had representations of fall and winter and spring, a year's worth of shit happening in the span of a month. This is going to be a very involved month for you, Libra. So I definitely hope you find ways to relax. We're not even quite done with your reading, and yeah, I can just tell, especially with the cups cards here, like it's going to be very emotional for you this month, possibly more emotional than what you are used to addressing. But let's go ahead and move into the cards. So with the Nine of Water here, this is a wish coming true, manifesting. But with the Knight of Water in the reverse, you have a wish coming true in terms of your career and finances, but I don't see it coming to you particularly easily, and I see there being a bit of an emotional cost in terms of career and finances. I would warn you, like, if you're trying to change careers, or maybe you recently lost a job and you're trying to get another job, I feel like I want to warn you that just because a job looks like your dream offer or whatever, if it doesn't feel right, once again, take this lesson that you had already learned and listen to the body. If it doesn't feel right, it isn't right. Our ability to see with our eyes is incredibly limited, but the body has a lot of wisdom that isn't necessarily prized in the Western world for us to listen to. but we're learning, right? We're learning that we do need to take in what the intuition is trying to tell us. Um, don't take the first job offer that you get, even if it looks like a dream job. If it doesn't feel right to the body, then that is your body trying to tell you, like, hey, I can already tell this isn't going to feel good. I can already tell this is going to cause us more anxiety. This is going to be emotionally draining. And ultimately, no job is worth that effect. No job is worth your physical health or your mental health. So let's go ahead and move into your health and spirituality. Even though I feel like we've talked about that a lot, it still needs to be talked about in the context of the tarot. Okay. We have the Eight of Air, yep. And we have the Queen of Air in the reverse. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The Eight of Air is, once again, anxiety, feeling like you were trapped by a situation when in reality you're not actually trapped by the situation. You are just not seeing the agency that you have. I'm going to say that is especially true in terms of the Queen of Air in the reverse. You were so full of anxiety and fear that you were not thinking of something. Something is escaping you. To make it worse, you were possibly snapping at other people right now. You were being incredibly defensive. And you're hurting, right? Like that's what it boils down to. You are hurting and you are afraid. Spirit wants you to recognize that you cannot move through life with a sword constantly at your side, unsheathed. You have to put it away occasionally. You have to put it away and you have to address this anxiety that is over here because that's what's causing so much trauma within your family. And I never like being the bearer of bad news. Bear of bad news. I'm sorry. I I don't like being the bearer of bad news. I don't like, pointing crap out to you and being like, "Yo, you might be a tiny bit of the problem, but I read what I see and there's no shame in taking a step back and recognizing I have this issue, I have this anxiety, it's causing problems. There's no shame in that as long as you learn how to address it. Um, Before I was on my antidepressant, which my antidepressant is actually also an anti anxiety medication, but before I was on it, my emotions were all over the place and I would bite someone's head off at the drop of a hat. And it's because I was constantly anxious, I was constantly depressed, I was constantly looking over my shoulder, I was constantly thinking this or the other was going to happen. If you haven't gone to therapy about anxiety or you haven't looked into medication, I am not a doctor and I am not a therapist, but it might be something you want to look into, especially if you should do it anyway for the sake of easing your own. Literally, someone's just hooting and hollering out there. I literally heard just a loud, elongated yeah out there. I don't know if you guys heard it, but I heard it. It was there. Anywho, for the sake of healing your own suffering, it is always worth it to go to therapy and to get on medication. It is even more important when it's affecting other aspects of your life, and I guarantee you, mental health always affects other aspects of your life. It affects your relationships, it affects your job, it affects your ability to simply enjoy life. And living feeling constantly paranoid is no way to live your life. Being afraid is no way to live your life. You are not living at that point. You are simply existing inside of a bubble of your own creation. pop the bubble, Libra. All right. So this is all I have for you guys. It it all flowed together pretty nicely, so that's rare and always lovely when it happens. I'm sorry it wasn't the greatest news, but healing is often a great first step to improving your life. So that's what you need to be focusing on in February. I hope this was helpful to you. Go ahead and check out the other videos if you need a little bit more. Well, I recommend you do it anyway, but check out the other videos just to like help you go through the nuances of what else is going on in your life. Again, take what resonates, leave behind what doesn't. Like, comment, subscribe, even if you didn't like it. Comment. I don't care. Let me know. I welcome all feedback. Um, if you would like a personal read, I do offer them. My calendar is going to be linked below where you can schedule a reading with me. And other than that, have a great February. Be good, be safe, and love and light to you. Bye.